little over 7,300 recoveries. There are 7 COVID admissions in island hospitals, with 2 in ICU and 2 on ventilators. Guam's CAR score is now 0.2. And joining us now from the Zoom room with your Workweek weather forecast, please welcome Landon Aydlett from the National Weather Service. Good morning, Landon.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Oh, man, you look freezing.
You know, it's been quite cold outside the last couple of days, and it's been a fantastic excuse to wear your winter coats. This morning is not that morning. It's balmy out here. So
I was gonna say you look pretty warm and toasty, like on the outside and everything like that. But I'm assuming like your inner shirt must be like drenched at this point. You wear that kind of thing on Guam, in 10 more minutes you'll be working up a sweat, my friend.
Yeah, that's about what it feels like right now. This thing is like, I feel like a baking baked potato right now. But it's definitely been cold out there the last couple of nights. We're going to talk about that a little bit more once we go inside. So I'm going to bundle up, and this is not a virtual background. This is our side yard. And of course, if you remember back in the typhoon season, when we have the trade wind disturbances, this is the Weather Service swimming pool. So all the water comes off the tarmac from the airport, which is behind.
Hey Landon, I got to ask you, while you're walking, right, while you're in transit, like even though you're on federal property and you know like there's a lot of like security around it, how many people have actually driven by you and you like have had to do like a double take, seeing some dude stand out there like in thermal gear?
Well, we have a lot of walkers out there. They like to exercise in Tijan, so it's not a bad place. You have very little traffic, but you have people walking by and jogging by. But we have our security gate locked until 8 o'clock in the morning. That's just standard procedure. Also, our facility, just a FYI, our facility is closed due to the ongoing pandemic. Once we get improved to a better posture here in our facility with the Weather Service, we will be opening up tours to the office again, which that's what I like a lot, is opening up to visitors, tours, meetings, and stuff. So hopefully that won't be much longer if the island can continue to improve its situation.
So, you know, I just had an idea. You know, when I put this video on YouTube, as we do with like all of our interviews and everything, I'm going to title it like, you know, NWS Landon Aydlett, the Winter Soldier. We're going to go with one of those Marvel Cinematic Universe titles.
Now, I will say, back when I used to ride my motorcycle to and from work a lot for the night shifts, when it's not so cold near the water's edge, you come to the island and you go down into the valleys, like after Holiday Towers on Route 4, you come into that dip and it gets so cold right into that river valley. And if you're wearing shorts and t-shirt, you'll feel it. And so you have to kind of hover behind the windshield on the motorcycle to stay warm. But you get these cold pulls and warm pulls as you're riding around the island. And with the light winds we've had recently after these little boundaries passed over the islands, it cools off nice at night. And that's what happened a couple of nights ago when we broke that record for the day. So let me go to the animations over here and I'll show you what's going on in the region. And we have an error on that screen. So let me go to the satellite over here. And it's not much going on out there in our region. We do have some showers and clouds just south of Guam. That's moving off towards the southwest. Not too much in effect for us, but otherwise it's going to be partly cloudy with isolated showers today. Most of the showers will keep to the south and pass south of Maritza and keep offshore. Regionally, just like it was on Friday, there's a lack of deep convection. You see a lot of grays and whites, but there's no reds and oranges, and that's what signifies the deeper convection, the showers and thunderstorms. We're voided across the entire region of that stuff, except for near Chuk and Pompeii, where they have that weak disturbance going by south of them. So nothing exciting for us. And go ahead and cue up the slides,
Yep,
Jason,
gotcha.
And we'll go up over there now. So the headlines, even though it's been nice and chilly out there the last couple of nights with this seasonal weather, there are some concerns that we have, and these are the, again, seasonal hazards that we have. The small craft advisory, that remains in effect for small craft out in open waters through Wednesday. A high surf advisory along north-facing reefs through Tuesday evening, and a high risk of rip currents for east and north-facing reefs through Monday night. The Guam fire danger remains at moderate and will probably cross into the high category later this week. For Micronesia, high surf advisory for Palau, Yap, Kosrae, small craft advisory for all of Micronesia due to the high seas, and the drought information statement remains in effect for Kapinga, Merengue, and Pompeii. Next slide. So when we talk about these surf advisories, a lot of times people are confused with where the hazards are. And so you need to know your zone. So when we say north-facing reefs, that's inclusive of Agana Bay, Paseo Park, all the way down to Upper Harbor, the north-facing shores of the harbor there, and then on up towards Retidium Beach. So those are where the hazards are with the north-facing reefs. For the east-facing reefs, that's, of course, Taragi Beach, and then on down eastern Guam, including Paget Caves, Marble Caves, Pago Bay, on down towards Jeff's Pirates Cove, Talafefa Bay, and Inarahan Bay. That's where the east-facing vulnerabilities and hazards are. And so you have to know your exposure. When you're going in a boat out of the Ganya Boat Basin, you're not going towards the Philippines, you're not heading west, you're heading north, and that trips a lot of people up. Next slide. The current conditions across Guam and the CNMI this morning, we're hovering right about northeast winds around 10 miles per hour. That's what kept us a little bit warmer overnight. We didn't bottom down to 69 or 70 degrees overnight because those winds have been present, keeping the more maritime warmth over the island, plus mixing the atmospheric temperature down to the surface. So we haven't had that radiational cooling. Mostly clear skies and dry, more clouds to the south. Current temperature, a balmy 75 degrees, and that's why I am sweating right now.
Yeah, you say
The
balmy, I
records
say
were-
frigid. 75, my goodness.
Yeah, 75, and that's our average low for this time of the year. With our
Is it true
average
that we
high
dipped
at
below
85.
70 over the weekend?
That is correct. On January 30th, we dropped all the way down to 69 degrees.
Wow. Sub
And so that
70
broke
degree weather here in the islands, you guys.
Yeah, that broke our 71-year standing record for that day. That's not an all-time record. That's just the record for that day. So for today, or actually for the 31st, the record was 70, set in 1969, and 89 for a record high in 1985. The rainfall, again, we're below average for the year. We're hovering just above 4 inches when we should be around 5 inches.
Yeah,
But
watch
it's not
out,
too
Siberia.
bad
Guam's coming
us.
for you.
That's correct. Next slide. This is the famous Facebook post that was going viral over the weekend. Guam broke its 71-year-old record as temperatures plummeted to 69 degrees. Yeah, it felt great. You can open your windows in that weather, let the breeze blow through your house, and keep things nice and chill. That was, again, broken from 1950, well before I was born, well before my mom was born. But my dad, I think he was in high school. I'm kidding.
And of
He
course,
was
your
born
mom
in
is watching
46.
right now and very, very proud of you.
So yeah, unfortunately not snowman weather, but go to the next slide, and I want people watching to type in their guess in the comments on this stream. What's the coldest temperature officially recorded on Guam? And I have that number. I got up at 2:30 this morning. I was scouring the climate data on our webpage, going month by month by month for the last several years. And so I have the official coldest temperature. If you have a guess or an idea, type it in the comments section on this live stream because I want to see what the guesses are.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's give
next-
everybody a couple minutes to kind of like mentally chew on that and everything like that. Well, yeah, we'll definitely come back. I'm gonna say 65. That's my guess.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out very soon. So yeah, if you have a guess, type it in the comments. Now, back to the slides. Go to the next slide, Jason. We're looking at the buoys, and this is the key right here. These are the seasonal hazards we have this time of the year. And again, this is off and on through end of December, January, February, March, and sometimes into April. The season surf. This is where those hazards lie with those storm systems zipping across the North Pacific. They generate those large swell and seas up in the North Pacific, which then eventually come down towards the Mariana Islands. Right now, we're looking at combined seas of hovering around 11 feet at the Retidium buoy, and that's coming out of the northwest, right about a heading of 346 degrees. And so when you look down in the lower left-hand plot, this is the directional spectrum, and you see that red bullet right there. That's the main focus of energy coming from the northwest. Now on the lower right, again, remember these plots from the last couple presentations with you all. The green line, that's the observed data at the Retidium buoy. We're hovering above guidance, which has us about 8 feet, but the buoys are reporting around 10 to 11 feet. So the observed waves are just above the model guidance. And so we're going to be keying into that in our forecast, keeping things a little bit elevated than what the forecast models are showing. So again, hazardous seas prevail through Wednesday, and hazardous surf will prevail at least through this afternoon into tomorrow with those rip currents. And again, that's the biggest killer, the natural killer on Guam, are rip currents, hazardous surf. Not typhoons, even though the typhoon's the most notable in the region. It's the hazardous surf and rip currents that get most people by surprise, especially new military members to the island and tourists that come to Guam for a nice sunny tropical paradise. So watch out for those. Then week ahead for today, not bad. Partly cloudy with northeast winds at 15 to 20 miles per hour. Combined seas are going to be up around 9 to 12 feet. They'll start taming down just a little bit by Tuesday and Wednesday, but they will remain hazardous to small craft. Winds at northeast at 15 to 20 knots over the water, and surf. North-facing reefs, 8 to 10 feet, and east-facing reefs, 6 to 9 feet. Midweek, we're going to have another little shear line system come through the region. It's going to be becoming mostly cloudy and breezy with scattered light showers by Wednesday. Northeast winds building to 15 to 25 miles per hour and combined seas of 8 to 11 feet. And by the weekend, it's going to be a little drier for the end of the week, but then we have another weak system coming through, mostly cloudy skies and scattered showers on Saturday, but improving on Sunday. Winds will be down to east at 10 to 20 miles per hour with combined seas of 6 to 9 feet. Now, when we say scattered showers, that's on the higher end of what we have is isolated showers with 10 to 20%, but we're not expecting a washout with these events. These are more of just the nuisance showers. They'll drop light rain and overall cloudiness, but it's not going to be a washout with the heavy downpours and stuff. And that's just the seasonal average. Next slide, the coldest official temperature. I see a lot of 66s and 65s. Yeah, 65 is correct. And that was set
I got it
on February 8th, 1973. And I think you have some insider information there, Jason.
No, that was just that completely arbitrary guess. and that was actually, you know what? That was 14 months before I was born on February 8th, 1973.
Wow, well.
But you seen that one comment, Landon from Chamarita Rages? She goes, it was actually 65 degrees and 73. I remember because they made us wear 3 sheets of blankets back then. So good memory, Chamarita. Nice.
Well, she nailed it. And in some areas of the island, I think one of our forecasters has some unofficial recording devices that record the temperature and dew point across the island on the mountain peaks and also in the valleys. I think the lowest temperature he's recorded was around 59 degrees in one of the valleys. And of course, that was just on that sensor. It's not an official recording, but that was on that device. So yeah, in some areas of the island, other than the airport, you can get locally cooler temperatures. So that's where the fun is. Now, the next slide, this is my dad. I remember we were talking last week about the snow in North Carolina. This is my dad sitting on his pool. They had a snowfall. I think this was right before his first or second trip to Guam several years ago. This is him sitting on his pool in the snow, having a drink. These other pictures, that's my hometown,
a baller right
city.
there.
They had a dusting of snow, I think in the last couple of days, and it's absolutely postcard beautiful. I really miss the snow, especially back home. Things don't look any better than when it has a nice glaze of ice and snow all over it. Very much like a poster card.
That is quite lovely, Len. You know, my buddy Jessica actually sent me a message today on Snapchat, and she said, "Oh, here's what it looks like in Wisconsin where she is, and they've got, you know, inches of powder. I mean, she actually had to break off chatting with me so she could go outside and shovel."
Yeah, I think it was 7 years ago, my brother and I, we took a trip to northern Japan to visit some friends and do some skiing. And we had it just perfect that they had a blizzard the 4 days we were up there. And so we had about 2 feet of snow in a 24-hour period. It was phenomenal. Otherwise, the most snow I've seen is about 4 inches. So having that blizzard in northern Japan, that was the best experience I could have ever imagined for winter weather.
You know, I do have a real quick question for you. You know, we got a couple other interviews coming up. Department of Labor Director Dave Delasola will be joining us in just a moment. But, you know, when you were saying like the northern-facing reefs and the eastern-facing reefs, we say that so often, but I'm always reminded of how, like, on the island of Oahu, right? And most Guamanians, you know, we can identify it. Most of us have been there at least several times. They always refer to, you know, they don't say west versus east. They tend to say, you know, like the windward side versus the leeward side. Has there ever been any discussions about maybe classifying something like that or something along those lines, you know, for Guam based on the fact that we now say north-faced and east-facing reefs?
Well, we're always looking at how we can improve our products because my big focus, especially in the last 4 years that I've been looking into the social science and how we communicate our weather forecast and how people on the islands receive that information, is how can we better communicate the threats and forecasts to the people out here in the region. And so we're always looking at that. And I've just started a group project with some of our forecasters that we want to develop a questionnaire that we'll send out to our warning partners in the region, but also the public. And once we get through the approval processes, I want to push it to our social media pages and have people fill it out, both with our public forecasts and our marine forecasts. What do people understand? What confuses them? How can we better communicate? Because for an agency that focuses on science and technology, that's great. If our science and technology is cream of the crop, top par level, and we put out the best forecast, but people don't understand it, that's a problem. So we have to keep that science and technology top notch, but we also have to look at how we're communicating to people and what they receive, what they understand, and what confuses them. And so it's always a process of improvement. So
very cool.
If you ever have any confusion, email us. Email me. You see my email down on the page on these slides. It's always there. Actually, I don't have it up there. Never mind. You can find me easily. Comment on this page and I can respond back to you, or you can email us on our Facebook page.
Okay.
But
yeah, I love the concept of like windward versus leeward. I mean, Chris, there's been many island songs like written about, the leeward side, the windward side. If I was a betting man, and I certainly am not, I would probably say that GovGuam would probably go with like Katan, Hadza, Lutzen, and like it would be directional.
Right.
Like they do with the voting.
That might would help.
Nice. All I'm hearing is that from the leeward side.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Oh yeah, we do it island style.
Mama's in the kitchen and they're making the corned beef.
Yeah.
The Teresa's
now, would that be my royalty-free music for our video forecast?
No, because Chris and I are so tone deaf and everything. Even Facebook can't pick up on that melody.
Right.
Hey, I know a band for that, the Guam Territorial Band. They'll take care of you.
I'm pretty sure they ripped that one up.
Oh yeah.
All right, thanks, Landon. Good talk, man.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Good stuff.
Keep that thermal jacket handy, man. You might need it depending on what your forecast is.
Not for a while.
All right, Landon. Landon Aydlett, the National Weather Service. Always a good time with a Workweek weather.
He's the man.
It was cold last night. I mean, I slept in the aircon, so it was cold, but it was colder. You guys get that where it's cold outside and then it makes the aircon colder? Right? Yes, sir. And you step on the floor and you're like, ooh.
No, you know what I was thinking? He told us twice he came on last week, Monday and Friday, to say, Tuesday and Friday, I should say, to basically say like, we're going to get all this rain and everything like that. And it was a gorgeous weekend. Sunday evening, right around dinner time, it was like, Mother Nature like let us know. She's like, yeah, I've got some rain coming your way.
It was a hard rain too.
Yeah.
707. Let's go back into the Zoom room where he's sitting by here with our Pua and